through putting on braces, and I'm going to use this patient that we're going to call her Sarah. We're going to put on Sarah's braces right now, and we start off by basically putting on a little cheek retractor. And this cheek retractor holds the lips and cheeks away from the teeth, which you'll see. Then we also use a little device that holds the tongue away from the teeth. The reason we want these guys in there is we want to keep the teeth as dry as possible. Once we start preparing the teeth and working on them, we don't want the lips, the saliva, or the tongue to interfere with what we're doing. Here you see that we're painting each individual tooth with a little cotton applicator, and we're basically sterilizing the tooth surface and preparing it for the glue. This glue is a special kind of glue that sticks to tooth surfaces only after they've been prepared with this special material. Once we put the sterilization agent on, we rinse it, and then we dry it off. We want the teeth to be as dry as possible. And then here you'll see me come in and put on each of the braces one at a time. Now the braces, or the bracket, we call them brackets, each have a little bit of glue on them, and we put them on the tooth just like you'd put a sticker on something. So you put them on just like a sticker, but the glue is not yet set or dried, so it allows us to work with the braces. So at this point, we have all the braces on the teeth. One of the things you might notice at this stage also is that each of the teeth has a very specific bracket for it. And so as a matter of fact, we use 6 different types of brackets on the upper arch and 5 different types of brackets on the lower arch. And they're a little bit different in shape and dimension. Some of them have hooks for rubber bands to wear. You can see those hooks on the brackets themselves. And so they're all very specific for the individual tooth they're moving. Here you can see that we're actually trying to get the angles of the brackets right. So we're positioning them with what we call a scaler, and now we're going in and we're actually measuring the height of each bracket. Now each bracket, along with each tooth having a specific bracket, each tooth has a specific location for ideal bracket placement. So I'm using this measuring device and holding it at different angles to get the brackets right at the right measurements on each specific tooth. But a couple of things I want to talk about with the specific brackets is that within those brackets, they actually have what we call a prescription built into them. That prescription, once we put a wire in, that prescription dictates the angulation and the torque or inclination of each individual tooth, as well as the height of each individual tooth within the mouth. So one of the things that's important to me is when I go in and start putting on the braces, I can already envision the teeth and their final position. So I kind of begin with the end in mind. I can already see the final results. I can see the final smile before I even put on the braces. Now here you see the special light. It's basically a visible, within the visible spectrum, so it's not a laser or anything like that. There's no heat that's generated from it. It's just a very intense light that acts as a catalyst to make the glue hard. And each bracket needs to be cured approximately 10-15 seconds, and we move on one bracket at a time. And you can see as we finish moving the light across the glue, that bracket has been set and it becomes a permanent fixture on the teeth until we decide to take that bracket off. You can see it really, at this point, there's not really any pain that goes into putting on the braces. Like I said, it's just like putting stickers on the teeth. It doesn't feel real normal at first. She has a hard time getting her lips over her teeth, over her braces. Everything feels real bulky and thick. Now once we've got all the braces on, we move to the next step, which is putting the wires onto the braces themselves. Okay, at this point, Sarah has all of her braces on. We've used the light to make the glue hard, and now she's ready for the next step, which is to put her wires in. Now these wires are made of, well, we call them copper nitide wires. They've got basically, this material was developed by NASA quite a while ago, and it is a temperature-sensitive wire that is also a shape memory wire. Now what that means is that this wire is very flexible, but when it hits body temperature, when it starts to warm up, the wire always returns to its original straight shape. So it's not like your standard wire that you'd find in, building materials or what have you. It's a shape memory wire. And so what that means is, as we attach the wire to each individual bracket, and you'll see that we're putting on her colored ties right now. These colored ties, although they're kind of cute and pretty, really their only purpose is to hold the wire to the braces. Now you'll see this wire starts to get distorted as we go into the more crooked teeth, and this wire, like I said, once it hits body temperature, it actually starts to return to its original straight shape. So as that wire over time straightens out, the teeth that you can see are crooked, or the wire that you can see is crooked, becomes straight, and as the wire becomes straight, the teeth become straight. And so really the braces are just a handle on the tooth. The ligature ties, those colored rubber ties, are nothing more than holding the wire to the handle, and the wire is what puts the pressure on the teeth and causes the teeth to move. Now, at this point, she feels a little bit of pressure from the wire, but again, it's a very light, flexible wire. We start off with real light, flexible wires and work up into heavier, thicker, rectangular wires. And so the initial wire is very light forces. But after about 3 to 4 hours, her teeth will start to feel tender. She won't want to be chewing on anything hard. So basically, her diet's going to consist for the first 3 days of swallowing type of foods or softer